All right, it is beautiful out here, nice and hot. Just enjoying another day. Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna say, call on Yahawah by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakwadash, giving all praises to Yahawah by Hashem Yahushai, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the gods of gods. There is no other gods besides Him, and the only gods that He made are Yahushai, the angels in heaven, and the lower gods, which are the Israelites, which are the lower angels on earth. And there is no other gods besides Him, and there is no other gods above Him. Much love to His only begotten Son, Yahushai, the Muhammad Shiach, the light of this world, the one who died for the children of Israel, the chosen children, to grab them back into the covenant, the new covenant, and to save them from these dark times ahead. And much love to the beautiful children of Israel, the only nation granted for a salvation, the chosen children at that, because the rest of the Israelites, they don't really care too much about the truth, and that's okay. Much love to the new covenant prophets and the Akim, the brothers that's in the word, brothers like me, and who do everything in their power to show Yahawah Hashem Yahushua that they love and they fear Him. Much love to the beautiful Akwaf, the beautiful women that's in the word, and whether or not you got a man or not, you still fear the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, Yahawah, and you listen and you learn in silence. Coming back with another episode, and today's title is The Knowledge of Yahawah in a World of Madness. So, because I've been dealing with a lot, and if it wasn't for the knowledge of Yahawah and His beautiful wisdom, I would lose it. I would have been lost in, just doing whatever I can to ease this pain and do whatever I can to ease the suffering and the hardship of whatever I'm going through. And yesterday's video can add on to that. Even though I would never do something like that, I'm just saying, who knows what would happen to me if I didn't study, if I didn't have the knowledge, if I wasn't reading the Bible, if I didn't listen to Yahawah and I didn't find out, who I was and what I am, and so on and so forth. Who knows what would become of me. So it's like, because right now life is hard. The life is hard. Things are only getting harder, and the more harder and harder they get, the more stronger you become, so you can overcome these obstacles ahead. And I've been going through a lot, just dealing with a lot, and just trying my best to roll with the punches, and taking things on the chin, falling down, getting back up again. Trial and error, patience. In the Bible, patience means to suffer. Staying in prayer. Prayer means to beg. And all these sorts of things that I'm going through, and dealing with, and a lot of it is getting easier. It's getting easier. It is. But like I said, patience means suffering. So I got to go through a lot just to wait for the next blessing to come. And it's getting closer day by day. One of those blessings that I asked, one of the things that I asked the Lord for was a better body. So with that being said, just waiting on my body to become more muscular, more shredded. Unfortunately, actually, it's not unfortunately, but in this society, having a better body is actually required. Otherwise, you're not going to really get anywhere. You're not really going to attract any type of women. And like I said, nowadays, the difference between the ancient times and now is that women have choice. Men cannot choose women like they used to. Women choose men most of the time. But then you got, certain exceptions of men and their caliber and what they look like. They have their choice of women. And all men can obtain this. But, you got a lot of men that don't want it because it's too hard to work on. And you got very few men that obtain it. Fortunately, I'm one of those men that's about to obtain that. And I'm at the beginning point of my journey. And, just getting shredded, getting lean, becoming healthy, fasting, staying in the zone. And it's real hard, and since everything is transferring to social media, a lot of females just meet guys offline and then they bring them out. They ain't got to go out to go meet boys They ain't got to go out to go meet men like they used to back in the days. They can just hop online, click, text a little bit. Guy texts back probably if he didn't turn her down. Next thing you know, they outside, they going out, they doing whatever they want. And social media is like a middleman now. You know, when it comes to dating, when it comes to seeing people, when it comes to joining different circles, like you can't do nothing without your phone being some sort of obstacle. So yeah, and this is one of the trials that I'm going through right now, and I've come too far to turn back. So I don't have no choice but to go forward. And if I do fall off, you know, I dare not see what happened to me if I fall off and I give up. But like I said, if it wasn't for Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai and his beautiful wisdom, I wouldn't know how to sustain myself or, you know, control myself. I would have given up. But because I know so much, you know, I haven't given up. Like it says, wisdom, knowledge shall be the understanding, and the stability of times. The fear of Yahawah is a treasure. So with that being said, you know, having all of this wisdom and having all of this understanding and accepting Yahawah in my life is allowing me to push forward and to endure suffering. You know, he who endures to the end shall be saved. So, you know, in my life right now, I'm enduring, and I'm waiting on that blessing. You know, waiting on that blessing. When I get a better look, when I get an upgrade to my body, I could be able to do more, because, like I said, as beautiful as I am, you know, I look good too. You know, but it's still hard for me, and it's not easy. And with the high demand of females and all that, like I said, there's a lot of men that's choosing to be with men rather than be with women because it's just too hard. And I don't condone it, you know, and I understand it, but I don't respect it. And I'm the type of person to just take on the challenge and endure it, which I'm doing, you know, and just get in what I can for the meantime. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned for right now, it's just a lot, you know, to go through, and just dealing with all of this craziness, and everything is just getting harder. It's just madness, man. Like I said, it's just crazy, man. Like, you know, and I ain't got nothing against technology, but I'm just saying, like, you know, it is separating us, man. I go out and I see a lot of segregation. You know, I go out, I see a lot of, you know, just different friend groups and people who don't want to mingle with people that they don't know, which is a safety hazard. That's cool. But, you know, it gives up chances to get to know people. You probably can meet, you know, good people, great people, especially for men, you know, because men, you know, men love women, and it's making it more difficult for us to even just mingle or even attract a woman or even have a chance, you know, or do anything. So it is very hard. Even as abnormal as I am, I'm still like common, you know, like, you know, I got to do what I got to do to upgrade, you know, and just live and navigate in this world. You know, everything is just so hard. And, you know, when Yahawah B'Shem Yahushai had us in rule, everything would be so easy. Everything was in control. You know, everything was better. We ran everything. You know, we had everything. Women wasn't an obstacle. Money wasn't an obstacle. You know, ruling wasn't an obstacle. And now, you know, look what happened when we're not in control and the Lord is not running the show. When Yahawah is not over us and we not in control. The women are against us. You feel me? Life is against us. Every day we waking up to some sort of problem or a challenge. You got to worry about bills. If you got children, you got to worry about that. It's a lot that go into, you know, the Israelite man and what he go through on a day-to-day basis. We actually got it the hardest. You know, I don't care what nobody say. Israelite man got it the hardest, man. We got it hard, man. And it's because of what we did. You know, but by having Yahawah come back into our lives and letting the Lord love us and take care of us, you know, that eases a lot of the pain off of us. Like I said, if it wasn't for me focusing on my workouts, focusing on my diet, and focusing on deep fasting, and focused on the Bible, focused on Yahawah, I would have lost my mind. I would have had another mental breakdown like I did last time. You know, I let myself beat myself, you know. I gave up, you know. But now I'm at a point in life to where I fall down and I get back up, you know. And that's because Yahawah, he pulled me back up and he tell me to go forward. And like I said, if I'm getting closer to what I desire, which is my masculinity being on point, and me having more of a social, romantic sexual life, because I don't have any of that, and it's been a long time since I've had any of that. Long time. And it's true that the Bible do say you could do without women, but then again, like the Lord said, you don't have to do without them. Just know that they can be a lot to handle. you know so for me, I'm not really into all of that. I just want to have fun and enjoy myself, and meet girls and enjoy myself. But the way the world is ran nowadays, it ain't like that. You can't just go out and just mingle with anybody. A lot of these women are very closed off, even though hindsight, when you get to know them, come to find out they got like 3 or 4 boyfriends and they just stretched out of the game. But they try to make it seem like they are not, they innocent, or I come out just to have a good time, and they already know, oh, wait a minute, you just want to sleep with me. And what I'm saying is, like, it's the reverse effect of everything. So you can't get at them without getting at them. Like I said, you can get at them, but without getting at them. You can talk to them without talking to them. So social media and technology is actually blocking all that. So you got to get on Tinder. You got to get on Bebo. You got to get on Hinge. You got to get on Facebook. You got to get on Instagram. You got to get on TikTok. You got to get on all of these things so you can talk to them and reach to them without having to see them and reach to them. And sometimes if they are attracted to you, it's even difficult because they scared. They don't want to get at you. And if you shoot your shot, they gonna melt and run away. That is the dumbest thing ever. And it's fucking hard. Like I said, if it wasn't for the way they do social media, then females wouldn't have no chance. No, they wouldn't have no choice but to get out there and mingle. Instead of just sitting there online, just clicking away, and going after one guy. You got like 10, 20 to 100 to 300 to 1,000 females going after one man. And that's just the way the world is. That is fair, but at the same time, it's just like you leave out the rest of the men that don't got it like that, or the men, or you just, men like me got to get to the finish line before we can have that. And it's just like, you no wonder why the separation is getting much worse, is because when men get what they want, when they finally achieve what they want in their body game, they leave behind a lot of feelings. They leave behind a lot of mercy. They leave behind their heart, and they want what they once had. They don't have that no more. And the only thing that they got is they sexuality, fun for a female. And sometimes females find the love of their life and they want to be with this man, but they don't understand how much damage and how much catastrophic mental struggle that this man had to go through just to achieve something like that, just to instantly give it away to a female, and she only came at the end point. She wasn't there throughout the whole entire struggle. She wasn't there to see this man grow. She wasn't there to see this man struggle. She wasn't there to see this man run. She wasn't there to see this man alone, needing help. This is where a lot of women is getting it wrong at, especially when it comes to men that actually reach that side, that actually reach that type of caliber, and they body physically change, and they get to where they need to be, is because they weren't there at the beginning. They weren't there at the middle. They was there at the end. And this is where a lot of men just be like, well, since she a hoe, then I'm just gonna be a hoe. It's okay for me to be a hoe, and I ain't gotta love nobody, and I ain't gotta be with nobody. I could just do what I want to do, and I don't care about these girls no more, because nobody was there in the beginning, and ain't nobody gonna be there in the end. And it's justified, so now it's like this big old gap of between the male and the female, especially in America, and especially the Israelite, the woman, Eve and Jacob, it's a split between them. And Jacob is like, well, I'm just gonna be, to myself, and I'm still gonna take what I want from you, because now I'm where I need to be. And everything is transactional, nowadays. And it's only when you become the pinnacle of the man that you want to be to where you start getting stuff for free, and it no longer becomes transactional. So it's like, females would give it to you just to give it to you for free. And it's just like, You know, but the man that you used to be at the beginning is not the man that you become at the end. You put off the old man, like it says in the Bible, and you put on the new man. And the new man is not like the former man. He don't have the attention span he used to have. You feel me? He don't text back. You know, another date to him is just another date. You know, he got like 4 or 5 or 100 to 200 females. Move, man. What the hell? Big old June bug wanna fly straight toward me. Get your big black ass away from me. You know, he don't care. You know, another night with a woman is just another night. You get up, dust, wipe his feet off, and move to the next female. He not afraid to cheat. He don't care about no female feelings. He just don't got no heart like he used to. And that's exactly what happens. You become colder. When you put off the old man and you put on the new man, that's biblical. When you put off the old man, you put on the new man is not like the former man. He not like the older man. Older man done passed away. The new man came in, and he more aggressive. He more careless. You know, he more straightforward. He's stronger. He got a heart, but it's not available to anybody. You know, he got a mind. He's equal. He's justified, but he is more strict. You know, he might come off a little bit brutish, you know. And at the same time, like I said, towards everybody in the naked eye, he lacks feeling. And that's how new men, that's kind of where I'm becoming. I'm like, man, there's a lot of pressure out here, man. Like I said, if it wasn't for Yahawah Shem Yahushai, I would have been regressed and became a reprobate again. You know, start drinking and smoking and all of that. But the Lord done some well. He done so well on my mind, body, and spirit. And he done cleaned me up so good. You know, it's like, why would I let all of that go to waste? You know, why would I let that go to waste? Like the bellies of living waters, you know? Like in the Bible, all that wisdom and knowledge and understanding, everything that I taught you, you know, you would throw it all away, you know, and you would go back to the way you used to be, because going forward is hard. Like you said, you got to get to the narrow you got to get through the narrow to get to the abroad. You got to go through the narrow crack to get to the abroad, rather than going towards where everybody else is going. The truth is you moving so fast, you done moving so fast, you done missed the way to the truth. And the way to the truth is a crack in the wall. It really is. It's that very narrow. Rather than you going to the same destination that everybody going, you need to stop, look, and see that crack in the wall, and go through that crack in the wall, and that's gonna get you to where it actually is, the truth, to the abroad, you know? But you can't take nobody with you. You know, nobody can come with you. You got to go one at a time through this wall, and you on your own. And the wall is so tight, you might not make it. You may or may not make it, but it all depends on your zeal, and it all depends on your determination for you to get through that wall. Like, damn, like, you looking at the wall and how narrow it is, like, how am I supposed to get through this? But you got to have faith. You got to believe in Yahawah and believe that when there's no way, he can make a way. You know? Like it said in the Bible, is there anything that's too hard for the Lord? No, it's not. It's a very, like the Most High said to one of the prophets, it is a very light thing that I allow you to save, no, that I send you to save my people. And that's, hey, I ain't gonna lie, that precept right there is crazy, bro. Crazy. He said, it is a light thing that I send you to go save my people. Then what's difficult in the eyes of the Lord? What's hard in the eyes of the Lord? If this is that easy, you know? And it's not. And it's not, but the difficulty, and that precept alone is saying, I think it can get harder. It can get worse, because this is hard. You know, being on highways and byways is not an easy task. None of that. I don't even get too many people that cross by. You know, I got to move to another area, and I don't even know where I'm going to go next. And I don't want to go too far from the house, and I don't want to go too close to the house. You know, and at the same time, you know, this is a part of my workout regimen for me to move like this. So it's like, it's not easy, man. It's not easy at all. You know, but, you know, like I said, like the Lord said, it's a light thing that I send you to go save the children of Israel. Man, that's difficult. But in the eyes of Yahawah, that's easy work. And like the Lord said, gird your loins up like a man. Be a man in all of this. Right, like I said, be a man in all of this. You can't be a coward. You can't be a loser forever. You can't run away from ever. Sometimes you gotta turn around and you gotta face what's coming. You gotta stop running, you know? And that's what the Lord told Job. Gird your loins up like a man and stand before me, you know? And that right there is, you gotta, like I said, in times that you gotta be a man. You know, the Lord chastening the ones that he loves. So the fact that you going through all of this and you suffering, and it don't come without its blessings. You gonna get blessed, but you gonna go through a lot to get these blessings. The Lord is gonna make you earn all of this, because it's a lot of wisdom and knowledge and understanding that come with your struggle. You know, it comes with the pain. It comes with the pressure. And when you overcome and you at the finish line and you at on top, and the Lord give you your blessing, you know, or you come last out of everybody that got theirs first, and then everybody that's first is last, and now you first, you know, and then you understand when the Lord finally give you your blessing, you understand, like, damn, now I understand. Now I know why I went through all of this. Now I know why I suffered. Now I know why the Lord kept repeatedly beating me down. And I know why the Lord crushed me to where I couldn't get up. He wanted to see if I was going to get up. He wanted to see if I was going to quit. And he wanted to see if I was going to stop moving forward. But I didn't. And the more the Lord seen my determination, the more the Lord taught me. The more the Lord gave me wisdom, the more the Lord healed my wounds. You know? The more the Lord showed me this and showed me that, the more the Lord told me what's real and what's not. You know, the Lord showed me light and darkness. This is all the road to becoming a God once again for the children of Israel. All of this is teachings, you know. But like I said, for that's teachings to get to God, to Godhood. But at the same time, it's teachings on how to live life too. The Lord taught me how to eat less. The Lord taught me how to eat healthy. You know, I fast for like 12 to 13 hours. You know, at least 12 hours max. Maybe 13 hours if I'm feeling good or if I'm that determined. You know, but most of the day, I'm not eating. Most of the day, I'm just off. I'm not even drinking water. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just I'm in that zone, because the Lord then pushed this. He put a desire in me to change. He put a desire in me to change, and it's burning. And it's became, obsession can turn into desire. That's what it wants. Want becomes obsession. Obsession becomes a desire. It becomes the desire. And like I said, there's a saying that I made up. I said, I'd rather be in the eye of the storm than be swept away by the hurricane. So sometimes in the most turmoil and you going through the most times of your most troublesome times, sometimes in all of this destruction and all of this mayhem, you find peace. You know, you find peace in the middle of the storm. You find calmness. You stay in the center. You stay in the zone. You don't break position. You don't break rank. You push forward with all your might, and you depend on Yahawah Shem Yahushua, and the Lord gonna make a way, just like he did for Moses when he split the water. He split the Red Sea for the children of Israel to get away from the Egyptians. You know, the Lord gave Moses the power to split that water, man. You know, and Moses depended on the Yahweh so much, but at that point, he put all his faith in Yahawah Shem Yahushua. And at that point, his belief became power, because he believed in the Lord. And Yahweh was like, there it is right there at that moment, at that most stressful moment, you know, at that critical point, or what they would call in vocabulary, they call it a crescendo, which is the climax of something, you know, at the maximum point. And that's when the Lord gonna see it, and he gonna come and save you, and he gonna be there. He gonna take point, and he gonna make your way for you. He gonna, like you said, the angels, and let the angels be in the front, and angels on the back, and angels on side to side. You know. Some lady just high, but yeah. It says 10,000, 1,000 shall fall on your right, 10,000 shall fall on your left, but it shall come not near thy. You know, and we weak. We understand because now we got to live the lives of mortals, even though we are gods in the spirit. We're gods in the spirit, but we live in the lives of mortals, and our bodies are cut off from the Lord. We no longer, our bodies are no longer tapped in with the Lord. We live in the lives of mortals and live in the lives of men on the world, and we're not men. You know, we are gods. So having that understanding, but like having that understanding and knowing that, you know, like the Lord said, fear not thy worm Jacob. Fear not, for I will help thee. Because now you done reduced yourself to just a mere worm. You done reduced yourself to less of a man. You know? But Yahawah said, I'm gonna help you. You're gonna be back at God, you're gonna come back. You know, and we weak without Yahawah B'Shem Yahushua, but with the Lord, we are strong. You know? And that's all the Lord wants, is for his people to return. That's all he wants. It ain't bad. It ain't extra hard. Like I said, the turning away of the simple shall slay you. That's what's gonna get you killed. You're not going back to the Heavenly Father, it's gonna be your undoing. By you making that choice alone, it's gonna make it's gonna be your undoing, bro. That's trouble. How you doing, brother? How you doing? You believe in the Bible? He can't hear me. We got the earphones on. But I don't even have my apron on. I got my Bible in my backpack. I'm not even ready for today. But I said I was gonna come out and make me a video, and I did. You know, I was gonna go get some rest and try to go outside, but you know, Spirit of Yahawah was like, nah, you might not be doing all that. You're gonna stay inside and just do what you do. You know, I'm at a point to where I'm like, man, it's hard. It's hard just for me to socialize, just for me to make friends, just for me to get out, meet some girls.